Who you gonna call? The Ghostbusters 3 3/4 inch Plasma Pack. Stay tuned. Hey guys, welcome back to Come Again TV, the only place on YouTube where all geek culture collides. I'm Shannon, and today on the show we're taking a look at the Ghostbusters 3 3/4 inch Plasma Pack. So I know this has been out for a while now. However, the price point up until now has just been more than what I was willing to pay. However, Prime currently has a deal where the entire collection is around $24, so I jumped on it. So this is the 48th anniversary edition, and let's just take a moment to admire the packaging, because it is very reminiscent of the VHS style packaging. Now, for reference, I do happen to have the VHS edition right here. I managed to pick this up just a couple years ago at a garage sale. It is in very good condition. Not definitely used, but I was very surprised at how good condition the case actually was for how old it is. And I actually ended up getting it free, essentially. The lady didn't have any change on her, and she just wanted to get rid of it. I tried to go back to pay for it after I had gotten change, but she wouldn't let me. So yeah. So there are some differences between this and this, obviously. As you can see on this, the Ghostbusters logo is up top, while here it is below, with the names, only 3 names above the Ghostbusters logo. And this actually has the fictional character names rather than the actor names. And then if we take a look at the sides, and as you can see, it's also got the red border. It is a little bit thinner on the box for the figures. This one is fairly thick. Then the sides, same deal, you know. Some similarities, but it's made to look more like the vintage style VHS packaging. And even if you turn it over here, this is supposed to represent the actual VHS inside. You got the, if I can show you, there you go, right? Which looks pretty close to how the VHS was, other than the Plasma Pack logo on the side. And then, it's one thing about these old VHSs, when you go to put them back in, the top flap tends to stop it. So, and then we got the back. They tried to redo the pose, I guess, for the Ghostbusters during the final battle. They did not include Slimer, or Dana, or Lewis, but, given these are the only figures that are included in this pack, it's no wonder they didn't include these 3. And then you got the top here, which if they actually wanted to base it off of the VHS, they would have flipped this one around to where the logo was up right side up from the back. But no big deal. So let me go and put this back real quick with my Ghostbusters collection. And now we'll open. Oh, I need a blade. Some scissors will have to do. There we go. I didn't feel like taking the time to jump up and get my razor blade set. So here we go. Inside the box. 40 years ago, 4 heroes of the hereafter crossed the streams to save the world. Commemorate the 40th anniversary of Ghostbusters with this limited edition 3.75-inch O-ring action figure set. And then it says the same thing in different languages. It also shows all the accessories here that it comes with. You got the ecto goggles. You got the PKE meter with the ghost trap. You got the proton pack with the ghost wand. It comes with 4 proton packs. And apparently these are supposed to fit into the ecto one. So I think as much as I would love to keep them in box and display them that way, I will take them out of the box and do a full review. However, I'm going to keep the box. It's going to go on my shelf with the Ghostbusters VHS, Ghostbusters 1 and 2 DVD, and so on. Just store it. So let's go and pause this, and I'll open it, and we'll take a look at the figures. Alright, so here we have all 4 original Ghostbusters outside the packaging. I am going to warn you that if you get this set and you want to save the clamshell, well, not the clamshell, but the plastic that they come in, chances are you're not going to be able to save it in great condition, in perfect condition. It does fit them very, very tightly. You do have to kind of push them out, because while you can get the feet and legs out very easily because of the O-ring inside, you can't pull them out like that afterwards out of risk of breaking the O-ring. So just keep that in mind. I was able to get my shell back into decent condition to put it back in the box. So as you can see here, you have the 3 accessories. I have not attached the wands yet. I did want to go over them first, and then I'll attach the wands, and then I'll get one of the ectos and see how they fit in the ectos. So let's go ahead and start from right to left. We'll start with Ray. Pretty good likeness of Ray. As with other figures of this ilk, like G.I. Joe, it does have multiple points of articulation. You have the head, which can go side to side. A slight tilt, not much. And then you have 360 on the arms, as well as a joint. And then you have the rotation above the elbow, along with the elbow joint, which is very tight. I would be very cautious with that. And then you have the O-ring at the waist, which allows for a lot of ab crunch, side to side, all that. Legs, you have the joint right at the groin, and then you have the knee joint. No swivel at the boot. And as you can see, they did a pretty good job with the sculpt. The color, however, of the jumpsuits, while it's okay, it's not the greatest. I wish they would gotten with a darker color similar to the Plasma Series figures. The hands are molded in order to be able to better hold their proton wands. Let's look at the paint here. As you can see, they were able to print Stantz right there on the name tag. They maintained the black undershirt, which is great. Makes it very screen accurate. You got the yellow hose here. I'm not sure it's ever been mentioned what exactly the hose is for. I've looked in a couple different places, and there's a variety of explanations for it. But there is more sculpting on the leg, little pockets and stuff. Pocket sculpting on the torso of the jumpsuit, as well as on the arm. Then you got the no ghost symbol there. And they did try their best to match the color of the screws with the color of the jumpsuit, which, is good, except for the inside of the leg here, which that's silver screw, not painted. However, regardless, it does make it easier to, rather than using caps, leaving the screws visible, it will likely make it easier down the road when it's time to replace that O-ring. As you can see, it's got caps here, but not on the other side. Caps on the inside here, but not on the outside. I'm glad they did that. Well, okay, so I was wrong. Guys, I'm having a little bit of a brain fart. I just finished 6 years of schooling and then literally just passed my licensure exam on Saturday. So my brain's a little fried, okay? These screws have nothing to do with the O-rings. These screws are for the legs only. So whether or not they're capped, it's not going to make a difference. With that being said, it does look like they may have painted over the seams. So chances are when we have to replace the O-ring, we will likely have a slight gap in the paint when we go to put it back together. Now we have the proton pack here, molded, added the red for the lights, and it is just a standard like G.I. Joe type backpack peg design, and then the screw for the body is right in there. The proton pack conceals it well. We will go ahead and add the proton wand to Ray's pack. Let's see. And as you can see, there's a mold cut out there for this end. We'll just pop that in there. And there is, yeah. Okay, so popped it in the wrong way. Should go this way, because the attachment is on this side. Fortunately, it is relatively easy to pop in and out. You just want to make sure to hold it as close to the base as possible before you remove it. And then this twists a little bit in order to peg in place. I think I want Ray to hold his neutron wand. However, I am scared of doing this. Oh, it is a very flexible plastic though, so hopefully we don't have to worry too terribly much about breakage. I am going to be very careful though. Come off screen for a minute to get a better look at this thing. The hands are pretty tight, so you are going to want to be very careful. Now we're running into another problem. The hands don't really seem like they want to... Okay. So there is a bit of a struggle getting it in a good position for him to hold it. I do feel like this is going to cause some bending in the neutrino wand later on down the line. The hose, cable, whatever you want to call it, I don't like how that twists like that. And we'll go ahead and put the ecto goggles on Ray, since he's the only one in the movie who actually wears them. And he's pretty much the primary wearer of them in the real Ghostbusters animated series as well. So there we have Ray with the ecto goggles on, holding his neutrino wand. We'll go ahead and stand him up here, try and get him balanced. I'm going to need to get some stands. Stands for Stantz. There we go. Oh, and Egon fell down. All right, so now we have Winston. Same basic sculpt. As you can see, they did manage to get his full last name printed on his name badge. And they did paint on the elbow pads. They did not paint it all the way around, though. I would have preferred that on these figures, doing the gray paint around here. But I can understand why they didn't. That would have cut into costs. And they would have had to probably take from a different area in order to include that much paint. So, that is okay. And his hands are sculpted or molded in the same way. Same articulation, Same paint job, everything. Same proton pack. The only thing different is his head sculpt. Head and neck. And I have to say, they did get the likenesses of these guys pretty spot on. Let's go ahead and put this wand on. The cord or cable, whatever you want to call it, however, it does make it a little difficult. And the arms, or the joints, the hands. I'm not really liking the sculpt of the left hand. Makes it difficult to get it in a decent position. We got the tools, we got the talent. It's Miller time. Let's go ahead and... Is there a place to put the ghost trap on the packs? Does not look like it. I mean, they should have included like a little peg or something, maybe on this side, where they could just peg the trap in. Or something. But they didn't, so I guess we'll have Venkman hang on to the trap. Now we got Egon here. Same sculpt. Spengler on the patch. The head looks pretty generic, actually. I mean, they tried. They tried to make him look a lot like Harold Ramis. But it came out very basic looking. Egon looks a little bit like a basic bitch. I hate to say it, but Hasbro made him look like a basic bitch. So let's go ahead and try to get this in a good position the first time around. I'm actually wondering, because wasn't Harold Ramis left-handed? So then wouldn't Egon actually be holding the proton thrower primarily in his left hand? I don't know. Who cares? We'll go ahead. Actually, yeah. We'll go ahead and just peg his proton thrower in place, since he's going to be holding the PKE meter. Now you do run the risk of stretching his fingers out too much with the PKE meter. There we go. And now we have Venkman. Venkman is the only one with a different leg sculpt. As you can see, he's got his pant legs untucked from his boots. Bill Murray, I think that might have been Bill's idea. I don't know. People, they go back and forth on it. It does fit Venkman's personality. Some say it was Reitman's idea. Others say it was Murray's idea. Others still say that it was written into the script. Regardless of whose idea it was, it is perfect and fitting for Venkman to have his pant legs untucked. They should have probably incorporated that into the real Ghostbusters cartoon, though. And once again, they got the name printed on his name patch, and they did a pretty good job with Venkman's head sculpt. We'll go ahead and apply proton thrower. And since Venkman usually keeps his, he doesn't like holding on to it too much. So he keeps his stationed right on the pack until he absolutely needs it. And we'll just put the ghost trap in his hand like so. He ain't getting slimed this time, I'll tell you. He's got that ghost trap ready. So there you have it, guys. The 3 and 3-inch Ghostbusters Plasma Pack. Let me go get one of my Ectos. We'll see how well they fit in with them. I'll probably use one that... I'll probably use Egon and Venkman in the front seats, since they're not actually holding on to their neutrino wands. And I'll be right back. Alright, if we're going to do this, we're going to do it right. I have 3 different Ectos that we are going to put these guys in and see how well they do. Okay? We'll find the best fit for them. This is the re-release Real Ghostbusters Ecto 1. It is dusty. It's been sitting on my shelf for some time. I have an entire shelf in my garage gym dedicated, a couple shelves dedicated to my Ghostbusters collectibles. I don't spend a lot of time dusting stuff. I probably should now that I have more time on my hands, now that I'm no longer in school. So I will probably be going through and dusting things on my shelves here soon. But we'll go ahead and let's go ahead and take the trap out. We'll take proton pack off. Let's go ahead and open the door. Is it going to open? That was scary, guys. Yeah, you can see all the dust in there. I wasn't sure if it was going to open or not. I was afraid I was going to break it. Okay, so he does fit in there all right. Can't really reach the steering wheel, though, unless he leans forward, which wouldn't really be Venkman's style. I guess we could put the proton pack on him, even though it wouldn't really make sense. You know, he could kind of use it to push himself up. We gotta, there we go. Looks okay, kind of small. I think they'll fit better in one of the other Ectos because it's a little too small in the Real Ghostbusters Ecto. I'm not going to put the others in there because, you know, obviously they're going to fit. They would all probably fit in the front seat, honestly. So rather than risking trying to open that door again now that I've shut it, I'll pull them out the other side and we'll take a look at them inside one of the other Ectos. Okay, so here we have the Ecto from Ghostbusters Afterlife. This is the, I guess the best way to say it would be animated style version. The driver's side door does not open, so we're going to have to put him in through this side. And it's a little difficult. Go ahead, close that. Oop. And yeah, he fits. He just kind of looks like a little kid in there driving the Ecto, though. So I don't think we'll be displaying them in either of these two Ectos. We've still got one more, though. So here we have the Ghostbusters Afterlife Ecto. And I can't remember, does this door open? I don't think it does. Does the other side open? Okay. That opens. Okay, yeah. All doors open. Excellent. And we will probably have to take Venkman's proton pack off for this. Let's see, will he fit? I don't know, it's going to be tight, guys. He does fit. He is kind of just a smidge too big. The steering wheel presses right up against his legs. But I'm thinking... Yeah, I'm thinking I'm not going to display them in any of the Ectos. I think I'll keep them freestanding with the proton packs and everything. I'm just worried that having them in that squeezed into that position could put more strain on the O-rings than needed. Also, the steering wheel being pressed right up against his legs like that could cause some damage over time. So, out of the three Ectos, this one is probably the best fit for these 3 3/4 inch figures. And while they do fit, I would not recommend taking them in and out or displaying them, because as you can see, I did have to push it, kind of wedge it in there, because the steering wheel was just in the way. So you do also run the risk of potentially damaging the steering wheel as well. So there you have it, guys. The Ghostbusters 3 3/4 Plasma Pack. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you did, give us a subscribe, hit the like button, and share it with your friends. I've been Shannon, and this has been Come Again TV, the only place on YouTube where all geek culture collides. Take care, geeks. If you enjoyed that video, make sure to check out one of these two playlists for more videos just like the one you just watched. I've been Shannon. This has been Come Again TV, the only place on YouTube where all geek culture collides. Take care, geeks.